guys, today we're going to talk about why elbow pain is so common in barbell sports. So if you think about conventional sports like baseball or basketball or football, where they're loading an internal rotation of the shoulder, that rotation of the shoulder is allowed to be freely expressed with pronation of the wrist, right? So I want you to take a look at this. This is kind of a basic model of how all our joints in our body are sort of put together in series. So this is where we have our glenohumeral joint, our shoulder. Now this is meant to be a mobile joint. Our elbow meant to be a stable joint, and then our wrist again is meant to be a mobile joint. So it follows this pattern of mobility, stability, mobility, stability. But what happens when we load a barbell into our hands and then go to internally rotate, our wrist now becomes immobilized, fixed to that medium of the barbell. So we can't get that full expression of internal rotation of the shoulder. So say for a bench press, for example, when you lower into your chest and you're pressing through the concentric range of motion, the inherent movement through the shoulder into the wrist is internal rotation leads to pronation of the wrist. So internal rotation leads to pronation of the wrist. But what happens is when this barbell is in our hand, we can't fully express that end range pronation. So we end up with sort of wound up tissue at the elbow, which is meant to be a stable joint, but is now taking on some of the mobility role that is now lacking due to the fixed barbell at our wrist immobilizing that joint. So what I want you to do before your next pressing workout is try this. All right, so range of motion is like anything. If you don't use it, you lose it. So the one thing we seem to be lacking is pronation of the wrist with internal rotation of the shoulder. So we're gonna over exaggerate that to get a good stretch and sort of unwind those tissues at the elbow. So what I want you to do, dowel start behind the back, palms facing forward. Now the tricky bit, circumduct the shoulder, internally rotating while keeping that pronation of the wrist. And once you just hang out here, just try and breathe into this, you'll feel the back of your elbow sort of unwind. If you have a problematic elbow, this is really going to sort of bring that to the forefront. Try and excessively internally rotate, retract the shoulder blades, feel the back of the elbow sort of stretch out in this excessive end range of motion that we don't find ourselves in with a barbell in our hand. So share this with a friend and try it next time you're in the gym.